So we're finally seeing how our government works against the will of the people and for its own interests. Establishment Washington is thriving amid all this political division we have in this country, and it's all being exposed. The Durham report outlines how top players in the intelligence community, knew Hillary Clinton had personally approved the plan to vilify Donald Trump by tying him to the Russians, and not one of them said anything, as the media just ran with the accusations. And a presidency was gutted by nonsense. The FBI also had evidence that the Clinton campaign was knowingly accepting campaign donations from a foreign source, illegal, actual foreign collusion, and they did nothing. Don't act surprised. When interviewed by the office about this contribution, a confidential human source's FBI handlers could not explain why this apparent illegal contribution was not documented in FBI records. That's another part of what we just learned today from the Durham report. Hillary, of course, is a member of the club. She's allowed to be corrupt. They're not going to look into Hillary Clinton and a foreign donation and foreign collusion. And I mean, why would they look into that when you can just make it up about somebody else? We're seeing the same strategy right now with Joe Biden. In 2018, a whistleblower reported that he had evidence that directly implicated Joe Biden in an influence peddling scheme in Ukraine. In an email obtained by Newsmax, the whistleblower, Bud Cummins, details the wishes for a Ukrainian prosecutor to come here to present evidence in 2 crimes. In the first allegation, he claims the prosecutor has information on Joe Biden and former Secretary of State John Kerry exercising their influence to protect Burisma Holdings in exchange for payments to Hunter Biden, Devin Archer, and Joe Biden through one of Hunter's companies. In this email, 2 witnesses are offered up to testify about these activities. So what happened to them? The Ukrainian prosecutor was reportedly denied a visa to come to the United States and share his story about Joe Biden's corruption. Denied a visa because nobody in our government wanted to hear anything about a corrupt Joe Biden in the couple years before he would be elected president of the United States. That whistleblower, Bud Cummins, a former U.S. attorney, joins me now. And, sir, thank you so much for coming on. What is it exactly that you told the DOJ in 2018 about the man who's now the president of the United States?
Well, I think you've had access to an email that I actually had a phone conversation with U.S. attorney and then followed up with the email. Yep. And, you know, it was very specific in describing the type of the allegations and the type of evidence they might bring for examination by the Department of Justice. I hadn't seen the evidence, and so I in no way vouched for the credibility of it, but I was offering them a meeting with a high-level law enforcement official from the Ukraine that was offering to bring the evidence. He was offering to do it quietly without a lot of fanfare and let them take a look at it, and they declined to take advantage of that opportunity.
Why do you think they did that in 2018 when, you know, everybody's starting to talk about who's going to be the next president and Trump is in a lot of hot water? Why do you think they ignored you?
Well, at the time, I gave them the benefit of the doubt and thought maybe they had an ongoing investigation. They didn't need it. Maybe they reached out to him directly, and after I talked to him, and I didn't know that. But in my gut, I kind of felt like they were sticking their heads in the sand on purpose, and that it seems pretty obvious. The pattern here is pretty clear. We have a dual system of justice in this country, and the FBI has to be completely rebuilt from the ground up. The leadership is rotten and arrogant, biased, inexperienced. You name it, but they think they're good because they got the jobs, but not because they can do the jobs, and somebody needs to replace every one of them. Not the rank and file. I mean, I'm not indicting every member of the FBI.
Totally understood. But how do you think we got this broken as a country? Because, you know, these are very important institutions. Department of Justice in the United States of America. How is it that we've gotten to the point where, you know, visible corruption is ignored by the DOJ?
No, I don't want to sound too conspiratorial, but, you know, when you see suppression of free speech, propaganda in the mainstream media where they're pronouncing that the border's closed and you know the budget is balanced and all these crazy things, when you see elections being monkeyed with, and now you see prosecution of political opponents, I mean, you're walking right through the playbook of about every country that's ever fallen under Marxist rule. And I hate to say that
Yeah.
because it sounds kind of nutty to me, but you
I
can
don't think
check
it does.
every box.
Yeah.
And about the only thing they haven't done so far is exiled political opponents, but maybe that's next.
Yeah, and not even Marxist, any authoritarian on the right or the left.
Any
This is
authoritarian.
this
Targeting
is what they
their
do.
political
It's,
opponents, putting them in jail.
yeah, the political
and,
ideology doesn't matter. It's more just about the power.
And the damage to this country,
Yeah.
when people like me, I mean, being a United States attorney was the pinnacle of my career.
Yeah.
I was so proud to be a United States attorney and work in the Department of Justice under Attorney General John Ashcroft, who made it very clear that just this kind of thing could not happen on his watch. He made it abundantly clear. And to see it degenerated today into what it is now, and these people like, while I was waiting to go on the air, I pulled up an article about Andrew Weissman's book in 2020 in the Atlantic. And the title of it is The Inside Story of the Mueller Probe's Mistakes. And the mistakes they made, they said, is they stopped short of proving very provable acts of Russian collusion. And there's no accountability. Nobody's going to go and take away Andrew Weissman's law license or even ridicule him in public.
Yeah.
It's just, there's no accountability.
You're so right about that. Bud Cummins, the whistleblower, thank you so much. I hope the men that you spoke with in Ukraine are speaking to our oversight, our House oversight now. I hope that that's happening, and we appreciate it.
I just hope that we get to the truth, and I hope we get some accountability back.
So do I. I hope we can save this country. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it.
Thank you.